Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority's first millage and FY 2025 public budget hearing on today, September 4th, 2024. Typically, we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask everyone to please stand. And before the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to ask everyone to please join me in a moment of silence, in a moment of silence, as our hearts and minds are with those in Georgia today, where two students and 2 teachers were killed and 9 were hospitalized after a shooting at a high school near Atlanta this morning. Thank you. And my prayers go out to all who are affected by the senseless tragedy. Commissioner Patty Reed, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Yes, ma'am. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we begin our meeting, I'll entertain a motion to allow Commissioners Peters and Walker to participate in the meeting by Zoom.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And now we'll begin our public hearing on the tentative FY 2025 millage rate and the budget. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive public input and allow the public to ask questions concerning the authority's proposed millage rate, the proposed operating and capital budget, and proposed service adjustments for fiscal year 2025. Tonight, we'll consider the tentative millage rate and the tentative 2025 budget, with the final vote coming in 2 weeks. Copies of our proposed budget are available if you've not already obtained one. The proposed fiscal year 2025 budget is included herewith, with an operating budget of $123,552,500 and a capital budget of $46,098,202. For the millage rate for fiscal year 2025, the fiscal year 2025 proposed millage rate is .7342. The fiscal year 2025 rollback rate is .6947. PSTA's millage rate cap is .7500. The proposed property tax rate is used to fund the fiscal year 2025 budget. And now our staff statement for the record. Good evening, Brad Miller.
Good evening. So I'll read this required statement. This public hearing has been scheduled so that the general public may be given the opportunity to comment on the proposed millage rate, budget, and service adjustments for fiscal year 2025. Notices were posted at the Park Street Terminal, Grand Central Station, Williams Park, Pinellas Park Transit Center, PSA's administrative headquarters, on all PSTA buses, and on the PSA website on August 14th. Today, staff has received 2 comments from the public concerning the millage rate and budget.
Thank you. Now our staff presentation. PSTA's Chief Financial Officer, Debbie Laos, will give a presentation summarizing the budget. Good evening, Debbie.
Good evening, and thank you for everyone coming out on this stormy night. As we just commented, tonight is the first of 2 public hearings, both on the tentative millage rate and on the tentative proposed budget for fiscal 25. There will be a second public hearing that will be conducted 2 weeks from now on September 18th here at PSTA at 6 p.m. Our action items for tonight are to adopt a tentative millage rate for PSTA, as well as a tentative budget for PSTA. This year, we have held several workshops with the board, as well as I've had the pleasure of meeting with each and every single board member, all 15 of you, over the last couple months. And it truly was a lot of fun. Brad and I enjoyed talking to you about the budget as well as many other subjects. And your input is definitely reflected within this budget. Starting with, the millage rate is being reduced in this budget to .7342, which is below our cap rate of .7500. Now, the operating revenues that we have in the budget reflect this reduction, along with all of the other revenues that we have are enough to cover our operating expenses of $123,522,500. We actually have a little surplus in there of $187,920. Included in here are some of the ideas that you sparked within us, starting with our Spark service with the 34th Street South service, as well as tourist service with the Clearwater Airport to the Beaches, better known as the PI service, and of course our Clearwater Ferry service that the board just voted on. These include funding partnerships, and we will continue to grow our partnerships as we move forward. The capital budget is $46.1 million and includes the receipt of our electric buses and a resiliency effort, along with, I'm going to drop to the bottom and talk about solar panels. That will help with the resiliency we have here at PSTA. We also have our Sunrunner improvements and Flamingo Fair enhancements, and these are things that will definitely help the customers of PSTA, along with our Clearwater Transit Center, which I'm very happy to say construction will be started during this fiscal year. So again, our action items for tonight's public hearing is to adopt a resolution for the fiscal 2025 tentative millage rate for PSTA. And our second action item is to adopt a resolution for the fiscal 2025 tentative budget for PSTA. With that, I'll open up for any questions.
Thank you. Before we go to questions, I'd like to, well, any initial questions from the board before we go to public comment? Commissioner Schulman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Debbie, can you speak a little bit to the reserve accounts that we have, the various reserve accounts?
Absolutely. We have several reserves accounts. One is our 2-month operating reserves. So within this budget, it'll be about $20.6 million as it relates to this budget for 2025. We have an insurance reserve that we have, which is based on an actuarial report for our claims. We also have several small reserves that are based on contracts, and we also have a capital reserve that is used for our capital projects and to help match grants.
Okay, so you said that there was a surplus in this current budget.
Yes, $187,920 is anticipated.
So does that go into the operating reserve? Or
That
is-
would, at the end of at the end of '25, we may be needing it to put into the following year, or it may go into a general fund
Okay, so that option then would be at the 2025.
at the end of the 2025.
2026 budget
Yes.
session. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Eggers?
Thank you. Yeah, just, that was one of my questions. Thank you for that. As well, it seemed like when I was looking back at the budget information back in June, and looking at it today, that there was a bigger savings at that time. Has there been a change since then? I mean, I can't remember. It was like
No.
$1.5 million, and then now it's 187. So if you could just.
No, great question, because a lot changes during the course of the summer, including that we have included in here, there's always some puts and gets, but we've got the PIE service that is in there. The Clearwater Airport to the Beaches service is now in there. We've also increased some revenues based on the 34th Street South. So that was revenues went up, expenses went up, and between a couple other little things, that basically the PIE service helped to bring that down to the 187. But we were able to do that tourist development service within the budget.
Okay. And generally speaking, the salary increase across the board averaged out to about,
It's 3% for administrative salaries and 3.5 for the union. We have two unions here at PSTA, SEIU.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So speaking of the union, we haven't concluded negotiations yet, so you're comfortable that we're good?
We have not concluded negotiations. I would like to think that the union is well aware of what we have in the budget for them for next year. We're not where I would like to be at this moment. I was hoping to bring this back in September, but it may be October
Okay.
or thereafter with a retro pay possibly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Now it's time for public comment on the proposed millage rate. If you are a member of the public who wishes to speak, please fill out a yellow public hearing card and hand it to our staff sitting at the front table. Speakers will be recognized in the order in which cards are received. Right now I have one, so I will call that speaker, and I believe it is Steve Boretsky. I hope I got that right, sir. And if you could please give your name and address for the record, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
I'm sorry?
You'll have 3 minutes for your comments, and if you
3
could start
minutes.
by giving your name and your address, just for the record.
Steve Boretsky. I live in Palm Harbor.
Thank you.
3 minutes is not very much time. I'm a citizen to talk to you. Okay, basically, I don't know if this is the right category or not, but I went with the judgment of your associate there. My question basically that I want to talk about is how you can justify taxing people for a service that they will never use. So, looking on the PSTA website, 80% of Pinellas County residents couldn't recall, well, I don't need to be that close, couldn't recall the name Suncoast Transportation. When they were told the name, they couldn't recall it. Of those familiar with PSTA, only 37% said they used the service. This is from your own website. 87% of Pinellas residents say they own a vehicle. So it's highly unlikely that these people will ever use PSTA. I can vouch for that. I'm one person that's been here 8 years. I didn't even know what this was until I was reviewing my taxes. So all of the members, let's see. Okay, so PST doesn't give the percentage of people in the county that actually use the service. All you provide on your website is the number of riders and how many trips were taken and so forth. So my guess is that the percentage of Pinellas County residents that actually use the service is 10% or less. And so what I did is I checked, and that's based on some knowledge that I have when I used to work in Washington, D.C. If I checked on ChatGPT to see what it said a rough estimate would suggest that the transit system serves a relatively small proportion of residents, possibly around 5 to 10%. And I think that's probably accurate. So moving on here, your body here, your directorship or whatever, of all the members on the PSTA, all of you are from cities. There's not one representative from unincorporated Pinellas. How is that fair? Where are you from?
I'm from here, but I represent that unincorporated as well. I'm appointed by the county.
What is your name, sir?
Vince Cox, C-O-C-K-S.
I'm sorry, your last name?
C-O-C-K-S.
Sir, you may want to use your time for your comments.
I've got you down here that you're from St. Pete.
Well, I live in St. Pete, but I was appointed by the county.
Well, you live in St. Pete, you don't represent unincorporated Pinellas.
Okay.
So there are
If I
no
could
representatives here from
remind-
unincorporated Pinellas, and yet you tax unincorporated Pinellas for services that most people are never going to use. Probably 90%, at least, are never going to use. So that's my question to you, is how do you justify this?
right.
I just don't see it.
Thank you.
Am my time up?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much for your comments, and I'm sure that any board members who wish to make any clarifications can do so when we have our discussion. And so for now, I just need to ask if we have any other requests for public comment. Thank you. We'll close public comment, and is there any further discussion from the board? No? Commissioner Schulman?
I just had a question. Mr. Miller indicated that we received 2 public comments.
Yeah, they are in your packet.
Okay.
Public comments on millage rate.
Thank you. I didn't see that there. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, seeing that we have no further requests for discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve the tentative millage resolution. No? All right, we have a motion to approve the tentative millage resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the tentative millage resolution. Alan, will you please read the resolution?
Resolution 2402, a resolution of Pinellas and Coast Transit Authority fixing the tentative millage rate to be levied for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024 and ending September 30, 2025, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. And as we do have a motion and a second for this, could we please open the voting system? If all present commissioners could please enter your votes. And I believe we still have 2 members on, participating virtually. Commissioner Peters, your vote on this item?
Is a yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Walker, your vote on this item?
Yes.
All right, so that's 2. And we lost our,
10-2.
all right, thank you. The motion passes with 10 voting yes, 2 voting no. Thank you. Okay, now for the record, I must make this announcement. For the Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority, the FY 2025 proposed millage rate is .7342. The FY 2025 rollback rate is .6947. The FY 2025 proposed millage rate of .7342 is 5.38% greater than the rollback rate. PSDA's millage rate cap is .7500.
Debbie, I need to ask you a question. The resolution says that the millage, the 7.342 mils is 5.69% over the rollback rate.
Right.
And that was different than the percentage that the chair just read, so.
That may have just been a typo.
The
on
percentage I was given was 5.38.
5.69. My apologies.
All
I
right.
didn't catch that.
Alan, would you like
Let
me
me
to?
just correct that. The millage rate, the tentative millage rate of 7.7342 is greater than the rollback rate of .6947 mils by 5.69%.
Okay, do you need me to reread the statement?
No, I just did that for you.
Oh, well, thank you. All right,
You have to, so we need to also announce the date of the next public hearing.
We have to
I
vote on the
believe we're
budget.
going to vote on the budget first, and then I can make that announcement for both.
Okay.
Or I can do it twice if you,
It just needs to be announced during the public hearing.
yeah, that's the last thing on the list. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Now it is time for public comment on the proposed FY '25 budget and service adjustments. Any members of the public who wish to speak on this item, if you'll please fill out a blue public hearing card and get it to the staff sitting at the front table. Do we have any public comment on this item? We do not. Thank you. I'll close public comment and ask for any questions or comments from board members. No? All right, in that case, I will entertain a motion to approve the tentative FY 2025 budget resolution.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second for this item. And Ellen, if you will please read the resolution by title only.
Yeah, thank you. Resolution 2403, a resolution of the Pinellas Coast Transit Authority adopting the tentative budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, and ending September 30, 2025, for carrying on the duties and obligations of the authority and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. Seeing that there's no request for comment, could we please open the voting system? Commissioners, if you'll please enter your votes. And going to our virtual participants, Commissioner Peters, could we have your vote,
I'm a
please?
yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Walker, your vote, please.
Aye.
Thank you. So 2 yes. All right, and the motion passes with 11 voting yes and 1 voting no. All right, thank you, everyone. Our final public hearing, where we will adopt the final 2025 millage rate and operating and capital budgets, will be held at the beginning of our monthly PSTA board meeting on Wednesday, September 18th, 2024, at 6:00 p.m.
3 of each.
Thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned.
Long enough to stop for the rain to stop.